Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Old Trafford Odyssey and another episode of After the Whistle, where we bring you match analysis and player ratings from the latest Manchester United versus Brighton game. So, I'm Ankit.
And I'm Craig.
So, guys, let's dive straight into it. Men versus boys.
Crisis Club proper.
That's the statement, bro. Men
Yeah.
versus boys. That's all I can think of. Like literally, as you know, it says in our tweet as well that basically Erik Ten Hag's boys have got like a proper thrashing at home by Zerbi's men.
We feared this though. We saw it coming.
We did. I mean, we did discuss
Three
this in
weeks,
our
three
preview
weeks
show
ago, yeah.
for Arsenal.
Yeah, we've
So
seen
before
this
we even
coming.
went into Arsenal, we had discussed wherein we were really concerned
Hmm.
that given how we've started and the international break, and we always come back slow and rusty and seem to start off really slow in all
Correct.
aspects. So we had predicted that, this will be an issue this game wherein we
Hmm.
come back from international break, and if we don't have the likes of Casemiro on point, Martinez fit and on, his best, and we don't have the squad we need, or Erik Ten Hag doesn't have the players he needs, it will be a big concern that Brighton thrashing us at home. And
Desandro
as
was poor today.
he
Desandro was poor.
he clearly looked
He
like
didn't.
he's come off an injury.
He.
He's not,
It was
he's
not
not
just his
sharp.
tackling or his positioning. His passing
He
was
was
off.
completely off. He was
Nothing
not
went right.
match sharp.
Nothing went right for us
He
at the
wasn't
back.
match ready. Casemiro again,
Poor.
all season
Not
so
good
far
enough.
has looked off the pace. Hasn't looked. We know he's a slow starter, but that has unfortunately been like a major disadvantage to us now, given we don't have anybody, to even help him out or cover, or another midfielder who can do the things that he can do. So sort of, when he's not at his best, he's left alone running all over midfield, and we can clearly see he's not match ready or at his best even. So
Ericsson was our best midfielder today, and even he wasn't at his best.
yeah, I
Bruno
mean,
was
in fact,
anonymous.
Ericsson was one of
Bruno
the
was
few.
anonymous.
Ericsson was just one of those few, if you see from the squad, that actually still had like an average game, I'd say.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't much he did wrong, and plus, I mean, we all know he's not a box to box kind of midfielder that builds from the deep. We know the weaknesses in terms of the defensive side and in terms of
The legs.
when
Yeah,
it
he's
comes
not got the
to,
legs.
and Brighton's midfield, bro. I mean,
They
it's
walked past
all
us at
yeah,
times. They
it was
walked
always
past us.
going to be like this, right? I mean,
Right from the keeper, right to our penalty box, they were walking past us.
I
Poor.
mean, the data and the numbers don't lie, bro. I mean, we knew this was going to be an issue. With a team like Brighton, if we don't put in the numbers in terms of running, in terms of, going into that game with that mentality, that aggression, that 50-50 challenge, we had to win all 50-50s. We had to outrun them if we had any chance of winning
We
this
did that
game.
for the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
and then
like
we
my
dropped
prediction
off.
was 1-0, which was based off of, thought that
Old
I
Trafford, we're
don't
playing
think,
at home.
yeah, we're playing at home, our home
20
form,
match unbeaten
and
run, now broken.
exactly coming off of the international break was a concern, but I was hoping that by now maybe
Yeah.
Casemiro would be back fit, and Martinez I was hoping would be a bit more sharper than.
They were
Clearly, he
both
wasn't
off.
match sharp. I mean, he's just come off an injury.
Yeah.
This is our problem.
Lack of squad depth.
Exactly, and this is
We
this
don't
come,
have
if
players.
guys. I mean, if there's anybody you guys want to blame, I wouldn't blame the manager or the players. This is where I would point my fingers at Richard Arnold, John Murter, and the Glazers. Properly. I mean, Erik Ten Hag has not been backed this summer. We had 4 signings, and we know how we did those 4 as well. Barely any outgoings. Out of the 4 signings, 3 have been injured. So we basically started the game
Poorer than
as-
last season.
No, with the same squad as last year, and as
with
you suggest,
injuries,
poorer
oh.
because even the important players of last year are
They're not-
injured.
yeah,
so
they're-
with this injury crisis, we
And-
are actually the only squad in the league which has gone back from last
Yeah,
year.
we've gone back in
We
time.
haven't taken a step forward.
No
We've
progress.
gone back. Varane is injured. Luke Shaw is injured. So we don't have that heart, that back four that we did that actually kept us.
And
in
De
that
Gea,
game.
and De Gea, let's not forget De Gea.
Bro,
I see
I've
him
been
making
an
2 crucial
advocate of
saves
De Gea,
today.
and I've had so much backlash for De Gea, but you cannot deny it. I can see this game. De Gea would have kept us 1-0 into the game.
Yes. We probably end up drawing that game or losing it maybe
I mean,
2-1, but
nothing against Onana. No disrespect to him. I am absolutely over the moon
Yeah,
with
we're
the
happy.
signing.
Yeah, we're happy with
I
him.
understand that progressive football and the new modern football where you needed to upgrade De Gea, but my concern
We don't
always
have the
was,
players. We don't have the players for him to play out
is
from.
this the right time
Yeah.
to upgrade that goalkeeper? When we've had this discussion before. What do you guys think? Guys, please come into the comments and let us know. Do you think this was the right time to replace De Gea in terms of getting a ball playing goalkeeper, but we don't have players around him that can
Yeah.
receive the ball that well, take those balls on half turns, and progress the ball forward? Even with his long passing, we have nobody that can bring that ball down, hold it down. Maybe a forward like somebody like an Antonio that can hold that ball and hold off players, let that midfield and attack get into the game and then link up. We don't even have that. So yes, Onana will give us a higher line, but what are we doing with that higher line? What are we
Nothing.
doing with his passing
Nothing.
accuracy?
Nothing
Nothing.
at
And
all.
conversely, we've lost the cushion of that added saves of goals that a player like De Gea gets, a keeper like De Gea gets. I mean, people underestimated De Gea. This is where you realize his importance. A lot of saves that he made look easy
Hmm.
are not something that every keeper can do. It's his intelligence and positioning
Hmm.
that part where he lies a bit deeper.
Hmm.
That's one of the assets that
Yeah.
he brought to
Yeah.
the table. We know how many points he's brought to us.
Yeah.
So
Losing him has been a big loss, man. And people are gonna feel it now for all the hate.
I think we're already starting to see that.
Yeah.
Onana, no doubt how good he is with his feet. He's not as good a shot stopper
Yeah.
as David De Gea.
That's a fact. That's something we've always known, and we thought
Exactly,
we'd
it
be
was a
able to walk
trade-off,
around it. Yeah.
but that trade-off only works if we can go
It's a
forward.
long-term kind of
I
signing, but
mean,
right now we've got so
in
many
terms
problems, current problems, that I think this transfer could have been pushed to maybe next
injuries,
season. We should
not
have
being
kept hold
back,
of De Gea this year. We
not
should have
being
probably
back,
strengthened.
priorities not right with the
Yeah.
transfers, injuries. All of this is on the club and the people running the club doing these deals. Even
Sad.
look at the whole right wing situation. I mean, that's not injuries. That has nothing to do with football.
For me, like at this point, we're praying and hoping for players like Ahmad and Kobe Mainu coming back.
We
And
desperately
these
need
are
that.
kids. These guys are kids today. Hannibal Mejbri coming on off the bench, scoring a rocket of a goal.
Oh, that was a wonderful goal, a
He's a
consolation though.
kid.
But yeah, a wonderful goal.
He's someone who we haven't rated, like, and we've known him for the past 3 or 4 years. He's been all right. He's not been someone who's been, we've been anticipating and hoping for him to come into the first team.
But that's
And he
all
was
we
our
are left
best. He
with.
was our best and most effective midfielder when he came on.
That's
That's
what we
just
were left
sad.
with, and we time and again seen. Now we've had we've seen what Harry Maguire did when he had a few minutes against Arsenal, and now let's talk about Scott McTominay. So we can see him. What
We should have taken that
let's
30 million.
take your
We should have taken that 30 million. In
take
fact,
now.
60 million we
I
should have
mean,
taken.
I really don't care what he does for Scotland because international football is crap in according to me.
He's
And
rubbish.
what matters is your club football, right? That's what matters to us. We're Manchester United fans, right? His performance is in a United shirt. So, what do you think about his performance today?
Not good enough. He didn't create too much. Again, box to box, not effective. Brighton were playing through him a lot of the times. There was a moment when I think Brighton's third goal, where the ball has passed McTominay right in front of him, and it's gone to a Brighton striker, and then he's gone and he scored. So this is the
Jogging on the pitch,
jogging.
not aware
Yes,
of
lack of
danger,
awareness.
a lack of the
Poor.
intelligence to read the game on the pitch and identify danger
His
areas.
only asset is being physical, so he'd probably be better off playing for Stoke.
I'd say he shares the blame with Casemiro even on the first goal because one of them, any one of them, should have been aware of that runner in the box. When that Reguilon has not been in position, which has caused Martinez to be socked off to try and cover for Reguilon.
Yeah.
That leaves Lindelof alone in the entire box, and we could clearly see Lindelof could not reach in time to make that block because he was left alone there.
Yeah.
Immediately when you see Martinez being sucked out to cover for Reguilon, this is where you need those central defensive midfielder, that intelligence to realize and drop back into the box, look around for those runners
Yeah.
and assist that centre back.
This is where we probably needed Amrabat today, but then again, 3 of our 4 signings
Again, but
our fresh
Amrabat,
signings are
though,
injured.
again, who's responsible for Amrabat not being in this game today?
Yeah,
Can we blame the manager for that?
no, it's not his fault. It's
This could have been such a different game with Amber
the Sancho fiasco, the Anthony crisis. Shit's
We've
hit the
got
fan for us.
Vidyut Xavier in the chat saying Onana was not the priority. Thrown him under the bus. Absolutely, what are your views? I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with him that this is as good as throwing Onana under the bus.
Yeah.
Bringing him into a squad here that can't actually play to his strengths.
He's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Exactly.
Andre
That's why I
Onana.
say that I'm over the moon with that
And
signing.
we somehow
but-
managed to make great players look like shit when they join our club. This is a fact.
Because we don't think
Players
things
go
through.
a notch down instead of going a notch
Because we
up.
don't think things through. Again, this is down to the hierarchy. You need a proper structure. You need a proper director of football who understands football, can identify these things, and can work, as collaboratively with our manager. Right now, it seems like Erik Ten Hag, whatever we're doing good, even in the transfer window, is thanks to Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be even far off in the transfer business.
Yeah.
I am Kamoy says pathetic. And what would you say to that?
Shambolic, pathetic. We're running out of words at this point. We keep using these words, but then that these are the words that describe our performances. That's how
Our
bad we've
mistake.
been.
Vidyut Xavier says that he meant that Erik Ten Hag was thrown under the bus, not Onana. Well, even Onana
A
is
lot
in
of
a
our
way,
good, yeah.
and even Erik Ten Hag basically. You're right in this, and we probably right in the fact that Onana was thrown as well.
Erik Ten Hag's press conferences are starting to be a little bit like how Oli was, especially towards the end.
But
He's not. You can't blame him. He's a brilliant manager.
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Conte-
Why do you think you see this sort of a change in Erik Ten Hag's sort of press conferences as well?
I think there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors, Ankit, and he's probably really frustrated with the management. But being the coach that he is and being the professional that he is, he's someone who doesn't want to bring that out in public. He's keeping all of that within himself, but then that eventually is going to lead to frustration. And I wouldn't want to see someone like Ten Hag being showed the door in the future, or fans
that's a
turning against
concern.
him, because
I really
we
hope-
know we back the manager no matter what.
I hope that we stick with the manager this time, because how many chances do we need? How many managers are we going to change before we start to realize that the problem is not the manager? The problem is the structure,
management,
the problem is the player, the
clubs.
problem is the club, the problem is the director of football. The problem is people like John Murter, Richard Arnold.
They are the root of this disease.
Absolutely, they are, and
They
not
are-
just
they
them,
are
even
United's
a
cancer.
lot of the players still in this squad. We keep forgetting that the worst phase of Manchester United that we had, a few years ago, when we looked absolutely terrible before Erik Ten Hag came in, and time and again we've seen the mentality of these players. So a lot of the players that were the reason and are still a part of this club. Even today, players like Marcus Rashford, I want to know what your views are. Rashford now playing back left on his favorite, place where he likes to be playing. What are your views on his performance today? What are your views on performances for, players like Shaw, who's injured right now, but again, still in the squad? Shaw, Rashford, these are the players who were one of the biggest. You were a part of that squad where we saw so many concerns in terms of mentality, that every time we go a goal down, we look like the shoulders are dropping, and it's just like,
There was no response today.
no response.
Us as fans, the moment Brighton scored their first goal, I kind of already knew I wouldn't see United coming back.
I mean,
from
the
this
credit
deficit.
goes to, we
didn't
started
feel like
the
it.
game
Didn't
well,
feel like
and
it.
the goal came out of play. But again, that's what a trait of a good side is, of a top side is. Right?
Manchester City 1-0 down, they win the game 3-1. Liverpool 1-0 down, they win the game 3-1.
Liverpool
Spurs
win the
1-0
game
down, they win the game 2-1. Two
And
goals in 2 minutes in the 90th
Liverpool
minute.
win, come back from down with
10 men against Newcastle.
So time and again you see that top squads do not crumble when you concede one goal. I mean, we were playing really well up to the goal, but the second we concede the goal, I mean, I'm disappointed with the likes of Bruno and Casemiro. What do you think after that 1-0?
So we're banking on these guys to be leaders, right?
Exactly.
These are moments when we expect
I
Bruno and
love
Casemiro
both.
to step up.
We
We
love both the
do
players.
love both.
We love
We're
both the
going to
players,
back
but
them, but
they were
not good
terrible
enough.
today.
Not good enough.
Not good enough today. I mean,
No one stepped up to the plate. Hoyland did his best, but then again, there's no service. He makes a good run.
Another
People
thing
miss.
that I've been talking about since quite a long time. I don't remember. It's been years since I actually last saw a United team that could create chance for a target man in the box.
Yeah.
Nobody can cross. If you see any top six side,
No one
who
post
are the people
Ferguson.
who create chances mostly
Your
for your
wingers.
striker?
Your wingers and your fullbacks.
It's exactly your wingers and your fullbacks. Not a single of our winger or fullback can cross a ball, can create those sort of chances. The
True.
only people I think we have who can create that a chance for a target man is maybe Bruno Fernandes creatively,
Yeah.
or Pellistri, who doesn't get game time. I am not really sure why, but I'm quite sure I trust the manager. We've time and again seen that he can bring out the best in players. Look at what he's done with Aaron Van Bissaka. So we've seen enough to know that he's a manager that can bring the best out of a player.
Yeah.
So when it comes to young players like Pellistri, I trust the manager. And if he thinks that Pellistri is not ready to start, then that's definitely his decision, and I back him completely. But
10.
so
Ten
yeah,
Hag
we've got
made the
Nadeem
club.
saying that Ten Hag made the club stand in 10. Oh, I don't know what that exactly means. 10 made the club stand in 10. Um,
Yeah, but we get the point basically. In Ten Hag we trust. In the management we do not.
Definitely. So yeah, let's get to
Let's
the
get
player
into the player
ratings,
rating.
bro.
Let's get done with this
And
quickly.
yeah, I mean,
And
we're gonna have
put
to
us out
hide
of our
face
misery.
again, man. We're
We
gonna have
faced
to
2
hide
weeks.
face
We
again.
faced 2 weeks of getting over that loss versus the Arsenal, and then we go
We have
ahead and
only
we
to
end up
come
losing.
into here, bro.
Yeah.
So
This is-
those are our player ratings on the screen, guys. And with that, please get into the chat section. Let us know what your player ratings are as well, and we'll try to read out as many as possible.
Yeah.
We'd like to know what you guys think of our player performances, and let's dive into our ratings, bro. So let's start with Onana. in goal.
Onana made a couple of saves towards the end, one with his legs. The other was
I
the
think
other was one save was particularly
that-
good. I think
yeah,
the
the
Ansu
last
Fati
save was
shot,
really good.
The Ansu Fati shot was a really good save. However, again, as we've already
I mean,
said, the 3
Onana,
goals that
look-
he's conceded were goals that we know De Gea could have saved.
I mean,
But
maybe
he probably
not all
saves.
three.
He
But
saves 2 out of 3.
De Gea saves two
out of
those
3 for sure.
I think so. I don't
We've
exactly.
seen De Gea play for a decade.
Look,
We
I
know.
don't exactly blame Onana as well. Because
It's not his fault, but
I'll tell you that Onana's a good shot stopper, but De Gea was a great shot stopper. Which
De Gea
people-
was
which really
legendary.
undershadowed.
Legendary.
Exactly, he was a great shot stopper. He made these saves look
Easy. His positioning and his reflexes, he was quicker.
Exactly. So as a shot stopper, De Gea was exemplary. So I mean, now you can start seeing the difference in terms. Now again, I don't blame Onana, but again, at home, conceding 3 goals is unacceptable. Obviously, the full blame does not go to him. The defense has to work, and the midfield, the team has to work as a
Yeah.
unit. But still, not good enough. So I'd give him a 5.5.
I'd give him a 5.
I mean,
I'm
I put that
disappointed with
0.5
every
just for
single
that
player.
last 2 saves. So I put that 0.5.
Fair
And
enough.
given that he's still new, adjusting with the squad and the team. So yeah, 5.5. But like I said, not good enough, and I understand the 5. Moving on, let's get to Dallo.
Whoa. The man's supposed to be a good crosser of the ball, but he can't cross to save his life.
I mean,
There were a couple of times where he dribbled past 2 players and then
Again-
he couldn't. He floats the ball into the box and the ball is like a lost cause.
so
There's no
this-
direction. There's
this was
no
something-
passion.
This was something that I've had a lot of arguments, and I had this unpopular opinion, contrary to what the general consensus has been again about Dallo. I know he's improved, but I really wanted us to sell Dallo this season and this summer and keep Aaron Van Bissaka
Definitely.
and go for somebody.
I'd
like
do
a
the same.
Frimpong.
I'd do the same next year. Probably get rid of Dallo because he's got on a long contract. We probably get a decent sum for him. Keep hold of Van
Dallo's
Bissaka because we
not a
need.
bad player. Dallo's good.
He's
and
not-
we will
he's
get
not
some
what we
sort of
need.
value out of him as well.
He's not
what
the best
we
going.
need.
Yeah, he's not the best going forward. He's not the best at the back.
So I would get somebody like a Frimpong and
Or a
keep
Hakimi. Hakimi
Van
or
Bissaka.
Frimpong.
Yeah, maybe even Pavard. I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
So we knew Ten Hag was looking for
Pavard
So-
today, and Pavard at the Arsenal game. I don't see him sticking a leg out lazily like how
so
Evans did.
Even Dallo,
big-
we saw
very
tracking
unlucky.
back towards the last goal. Not good enough. No, not enough.
His
heart and
positioning
intensity.
for the
Positioning.
last.
We've seen that consistently with him also. The positioning has been off.
Yeah.
So yeah, again 5. Dallo a 5 for me. Let's move to Lindelof.
Lindelof was probably our best centre back, our best defender rather today.
I'll agree in terms
Out
of
of the
defensive
lot.
capabilities. I think
The
he was
best
the best.
of the worst of the
A
bunch.
bit blame in maybe one goal. So a bit to blame. Like
Again, he's not meant to be a
alone.
starter. He's someone who's stepping in for Varane, who's made
And
of
like we
glass.
mentioned, he was probably one of the best defenders we had.
Yes.
So 5.5 for me, but still not good enough.
No.
So 5.5.
Martinez had one of his poorest games since he's joined
Yeah,
us.
a 5 for me, man. A low 5 because Martinez was really off again. I feel bad because we're having to throw these players that
Yeah.
come straight out of injury into games like this with such high intensity against a team like Brighton that we knew are gonna run a lot and are gonna cause problems. So, but yeah, we expect better from these players. And again, 5, 4, so not good enough. Regulon, debut for him.
He started off brightly. When I watched Reguilon, I was like, "Wow, this guy could be a baller for United."
But
But
again,
then
bro, it's a
his
90-minute
positioning,
game.
his shoulders dropped when we went a goal down. I didn't see that fight or passion. And he's someone who couldn't even make it to the starting 11 for someone like Spurs, for a club like Spurs.
So, I
And
mean, see,
he's
we all knew
someone
the
who we are
Regulon
banking
signing
on.
again.
Yeah,
If you want to point your fingers, where do we point them, guys?
broke.
Upstairs,
Yeah.
the hierarchy. Go. I mean, call that. Where's Murder Madness? Where's Murder Madness now? So that's where you need to
Motor
point that.
Madness belongs in an
Yeah,
asylum,
this is what Murder Madness is, bro. This is the real side of
not
Murder
in
Madness.
Manchester.
It's crazy, man. I mean, the signing Regulon. I mean, purposely signing a player that you know is worse than what the other player you're in contention with and whom the manager prefers. In Cucurella, you know that Regulon is poorer than Cucurella, but you still purposely go for a poorer player only so you can send him back in January. Like, how pathetic is that? This is Manchester United, man. We're supposed to be the biggest club. Like, it's again. So, guys, Murder Madness. Give a like on that video for Murder Madness. So, let's move on, bro, with Regulon again. 5 4. Yeah, did start brightly, but like I said, a game of 90 minutes and not 15.
Casemiro,
So,
not good enough.
again, yeah, I mean, Casemiro, the entire start
He's
of the
not. He's
season
not.
has been off, like we
He's looked
discussed.
like he's aged 3 years over the past one season.
But I mean, dude, you gotta understand that the man, we've always seen him throughout his career that he is someone who starts slow and he's gotten a year older. And we put him in a position where he has to run more than anybody else on the pitch. In the entire midfield, he's
Yeah.
left to run all around, no support whatsoever. A guy who's gotten a year older.
He needs Amrabat.
He
He
needs
needs
that.
Amrabat by his side.
Absolutely.
He needs
So,
him.
yes, I do somewhat understand, why he looks, so off. It looks like we've already run him out.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
That's what it's like. Someone who's as world class as Casemiro is also.
I mean,
We've worn him down in a season.
season that has just
Within
begun.
a season.
In 5 games.
I'm saying he's played well last year, and like now he's
Yeah,
someone
bro.
who looks like he's washed up.
Exactly. So we need that support. We need to let our players, get to their full fitness. If they are not at the best,
We don't have depth.
I don't know what Tenak can do.
Casemiro and
I mean-
Martinez shouldn't have started today.
Bro, but
McTominay should have been out of the club.
Whom do you blame for McTominay? Again, whom do you blame for McTominay?
Murder madness.
We've rejected a bid for 30 million and then McTominay himself has rejected
This
the
is
bid
what
from
murder
Fulham.
madness should mean. Like stupid. We should have
mental, bro.
gotten rid of Maguire and
should
gotten
be-
Pavard.
It should be mental murder. I mean, it's insane how Richard Arnold and John Murter still have a job, man. I mean, it's baffling. The state of affairs at this club.
Anyways,
They're a
fuck them.
joke. So moving forward, bro, let's get to Eriksen.
Our best midfielder. But then again, I see UFC.
So
Someone
again,
who
like
doesn't have the legs.
I think Eriksen did not do a lot wrong
Yeah.
in this game. In fact,
Yeah.
I'd give him an average 6. Probably
Yeah.
the only player, other than Hoyland, whom I would give an average 6 score.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see him doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing we could see was what we already knew, that he doesn't have the legs and he's not that great defensively. He did exactly what he's in there
Yeah.
for. He was good enough there. It's not his fault if players like our attackers like Rashford are going to constantly keep looking down, cutting in and trying to shoot and not even keeping it on target, who even when we go to the byline cannot put a cross at a United feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how many players you go past if the end product doesn't exist. If that ball is not going to come in or if that finish is not going to get onto the target, it doesn't matter whom you dribble past.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not playing FIFA Street here.
Hmm. There were a couple of nutmegs
Goals
and all,
wins
but that's
games,
not good enough.
matches. So I don't care if you
End
can't create a
product.
player, if you can put a cross just by creating a second space,
Yeah.
like somebody like Trent would do,
Yeah.
who would probably just be intelligent
Open up a
enough
little
to
bit.
maybe create that space and just whip the ball around.
Yeah.
Get that technical ability. I don't care if you can't
We
dribble
have
past
no one
players.
in our squad
I
who
need
can
you to
whip the
be
ball
able to
in.
assist. I need you to be able to score and finish. That dribbling only means anything if after dribbling you have the end product, which Rashford completely lacked today.
Yeah, there were a couple
So
of fancy moves here and there's a couple
yeah,
of nutmegs, nutmeg pass, nutmeg
no,
touch,
that's great to see.
but that's not good enough. We
Definitely.
want end
But
product. It was like Anthony pirouetting all over again.
and now again, I want to see the criticism that Anthony got for spinning and not delivering an end product. Let's see what criticism Rashford gets for doing the fancy moves, beating players, but not good enough with no end product.
There were a couple of times when Rashford could have played in Reguilon to maybe put in a squared pass in,
No, even,
and he's not even looked at him.
yeah, that's what I
Is
said,
Reguilon
right?
coming
Head
from
down.
this side? Rashford's got his head down and he knows the goal is there. And he could have
Exactly.
played a pass here. A smarter center forward or even a smarter player for that matter knows
No,
better to
these there
pass.
are certain things a manager cannot teach you. There are certain things that a manager can't improve. Certain things are basic intelligence, footballing ability, common
Footballing
sense,
intellect is a
and
little
footballing
lacking.
common sense. Some things are just in the player. A manager cannot be teaching you, or at this stage of your career, 8 years into Premier League football for a club like Manchester United, a manager should not be having to teach you to look up.
Yeah. Which is why Rashford is a 5 for us. An
Absolutely.
average
Spot
5,
on. Five for
not good
Rashford,
enough.
six for Eriksen, six for Hoyland. We'll come to Hoyland. Eriksen, like we discussed. So let's get to Bruno Fernandes.
Anonymous. Bruno
One
didn't
of those
play for us
nights, right?
today.
Like one of those nights where we know Bruno being how brilliant he is creatively, but can have those games where he's completely gone. But again, it's
I don't know if Brighton kept him silent or just
it's
wasn't there. It
maybe
felt like his
we
mind
were
was
in a
elsewhere.
new
His body was.
formation, and it's one of those things when the entire team is not playing, and it's not when that midfield completely looks battered. It's not a unit. Um, I don't see much as to what Bruno could do.
Brighton were
I
cutting
mean,
through us like a knife through butter, man.
our issue was what? The midfield. Casemiro not being at his best. McTominay is just,
Just
I
shit.
mean, I have no words for him.
He's shit.
Eriksen doesn't have the
That's
legs.
the word.
So three out of your four midfielders are not in sync, are not at their best. And now, how can Bruno do anything alone
Yeah. There
in
was no
that
link up.
midfield?
There was no link up.
Exactly.
We are blank.
So again, disappointing from Bruno too as well. I'm disappointed in Bruno. He's a captain in terms of after that 1-0 goal down, I expect a bit more from Bruno wherein he leads by an example. This is the game where we need him to be more at his best. In fact, I'd be okay if Bruno has one out of games in games where we are probably doing well off.
Yeah.
But in games like this where we are actually not at our best, this is where we need a captain to lead by example. Step forward.
Leadership.
Exactly. And pull those players up, those shoulders that are dropped. I can never see that happening under Roy Keane. I'm not one of those guys who's against Bruno's captaincy. I think that's the right decision.
Yeah.
This is just, when I say this, the only thing I'm pointing at is, wherein this is one thing I feel where Bruno can improve in terms of his leadership. It's
Yeah.
something where, Bruno, I think, should work a bit more on, wherein, these sort of games, he needs to get that sort of, command over, the players in these games where he needs to bring them up sort of mentally.
I'm sure Ten Hag is probably go and have a word with Bruno also. It's something.
There is probably a conversation to be had because we've seen this time and time again. When we start going down, we just crumble.
Yeah.
We don't come back. Very rarely
I had no belief today.
Bro, I mean,
the moment we
were
went
the
1 and
better
down,
team when we conceded.
until we conceded.
Exactly.
And we
How
dropped.
do we
It's like
go
we
from
forgot.
there
Yeah.
to here? The second you concede a goal, your entire performance is gone off the toss. The entire manager's plans have gone on out of the window.
Yeah.
The manager can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
He sent you with a plan, and if you're not going to play to that plan just because you've
You're not good enough.
conceded a goal,
Yeah.
there's nothing the manager can do. He can't step onto that pitch. And what does he have to bring off the bench? Barely anything. It's all youngsters or it's people who can do nothing. So, like McTominay, I mean, bro, it's a 4 for me. Like, absolutely terrible. The worst player on the pitch today.
He doesn't belong here now.
Exactly. Again, I would blame the hierarchy up there. This is the Ten Hag's problem. This is what he's dealing with. Two players that we clearly know he wanted out and are still here and have cost us 2 games. Harry Maguire and McTominay.
And signing Evans, of course.
Obviously, but
For
why have we
someone who
signed
should-
Evans?
he should be a coach.
Imagine from Ten Hag, who wanted Kim Min Jae at the start of the season, had to end up with Evans. Just imagine the state of that manager.
Kim Min-jae, Pavard,
Just
Todibo
imagine.
were brilliant options
So
to
my
have.
point is, just imagine the drop off going
Yeah.
from Kim Min Jae to
Evans, Johnny Evans.
So how is the manager backed when these people who are criticizing Ten Hag saying he's backed? How is he backed? His first priority was Kim Min Jae and he's ended up with Johnny Evans.
Yeah.
How
I
is
feel
that
for
called
him.
backing?
I feel for Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah, so
He's in a very,
McTominay,
very
bro,
difficult position right now.
He is. There's
And-
so much for
and-
him to do, and I don't know how he's gonna sort this out. I
Like
mean, I can see, in terms of even in this terrible window, there are positives in this terrible state right now. Also, there is still a chance. I mean, if things go a bit for us in our favor in terms of injuries going forward,
Yeah.
and I know what Ten Hag is capable of, and with Amrabat, people like Amrabat, Højlund and all, once they are properly up to sharpness, fit, the whole team, Mount comes back into the picture. Varane
Amad
comes
and
back,
Mainu.
Luke Shaw, Mainu, Amad. Once he has that entire squad at his disposal, I'm quite sure we'll see a lot better of football. We'll see that Ten Hag ball. But my only concern is that
But
by the time
we,
that happens,
we'd have lost the plot by then.
we
season's
might
over.
be in a position where
Season
top
over.
4 might be almost impossible.
Out of sight.
And maybe like I said, if we get a little lucky with injuries going forward a bit, we've got a lot of games coming up front. Champions League is starting now. So, if we go get a bit lucky with that and with, what I know Ten Hag is capable of, and once that squad gets there, if we're lucky, yeah, maybe we might make top 5 and get that Champions League
Yeah.
spot with the new format.
Yeah.
But it's looking very bleak right now, man. It's looking very disappointing. The VAR decision that, in my opinion, was
There's
in
an
the
agenda against us.
circumference. I mean, we saw in the World Cup.
There's an agenda against us where clearly the positioning of the camera that they've shown forward to the referee, it was from the front. But when we saw the same footage from another angle, which is from the back, it was clear to see that the ball didn't go out of play. This is something that is very, very a little sketchy when it comes to VAR and Man United.
Even the
this
other
season.
shot we saw on the live telecast, you could see there was one more angle that was from behind.
That's
where
what
you
I'm
could
saying.
Clearly see the ball was on the line. And we've seen in the World Cup.
And they never played that footage for the
Did you see
referee.
the World Cup, what is said now, that the entire circumference is what matters. It's not the part that's touching the grass. It's the circumference.
The whole of the ball has to cross the whole of the line.
Exactly. So if you see the circumference and
That's
you see
always
any
been the
angle,
rule.
in all angles, that circumference is touching the line.
Yes.
So again, that's a terrible decision by VAR, and we all know how VAR
They've
is
robbed
when it comes to
Højlund.
United.
They've robbed Højlund today. He's been robbed.
He deserved a goal.
He deserved
He
it.
definitely did.
His movement and getting to
Højlund
Højlund.
was the only positive, the
Yeah.
biggest positive of the game. I'm really impressed
His
by him.
positioning he's an intelligent player.
Absolutely,
A very
bro.
intelligent
His
player.
movement, his intelligence, his physicality.
Yeah.
And
He's strong.
yeah,
He can hold
definitely.
the ball up. We've
So,
got a good
again,
forward there going forward. Good striker.
Højlund, if there is somebody that I gave the man of the match for this game, would probably be Højlund.
Yeah.
But
But we're so bad that no one deserves a man of the match.
Exactly. So yeah, Højlund is 6, and again, bro, we can't keep this. We already know how VAR is with Manchester United.
Yeah.
So we can't be keeping depending on referee decisions. It's always against us. We know that, but we can't be relying on them.
Yeah. It shouldn't come to that point, ideally. We should be able to score goals
Do
and
you see goals
not
from
talk.
this team? going
As of
forward?
now, this current squad, without the likes of the guys who we discussed about, your Kobe Mainus, your Ahmads, Amrabat, current squad, I don't see us. We don't have too many goals in us, to be
It's
honest.
disappointing.
Our goal difference is -4. Fulham are ahead of us in the table. The likes
I
of
mean,
Fulham and West Ham are scoring more
let's,
goals.
I mean, bro, the table is
-4
so-
GD.
Bro,
That's pathetic.
But
That is a mid-table side's goal difference
what
at this
was our
stage in
goal
the season.
difference at the end of last year?
Single digits.
So we this is not anything new.
This is not what Ten Hag
This is
wants.
not new.
This is not how he
We
plays.
know this, right? We as fans know this. So obviously, I'm sure everybody else knows it. This is a known fact that we can't score goals. That was our biggest weakness, and which is why
And
I
now we
have
don't
been
have the
banging
defense. We don't
on
have the
my
defense
head
now.
that instead of Ona, another priority right now, that 45 million could have been addressed, and we could have fortified the midfield area, which is the priority, and get a bit maybe a cheaper winger on loan or
Or a
an
striker.
attacker or a
And,
striker.
Antonio at this point, as you mentioned
Somebody,
earlier,
exactly,
he would
somebody
have made
that
a
could
big
have been
impact
an
this game.
asset. There were
Yes.
options, bro. We could get that loan deal, but we were so terrible because we didn't have absolute any money. We couldn't sell for shit, so we needed money.
Yeah.
So if you need money, don't spend the money that you already have on areas that is not your priority. And again, I don't blame Ten Hag for this because this is a structure that is to be done by a director of football. They are supposed to be planning this. If they tell Ten Hag that you will get the players, don't worry, you sign this guy now and we will sell this guy and get you that guy.
Yeah. That's how it should be, ideally.
So that's not how it should be. That's
Yeah.
how it is right now.
Yeah.
What it should be is that, it's planned properly and be like, look, we know we've got this issue of player wages. We've got FFP. We know that we've got, players that are not the best but on higher wages, and it'll be difficult to sell these guys. So what we can best do is the money that we have. Let's prioritize the key important areas first that you want addressing first. Let's assign them, and then if we sell enough, we'll get you the other players that you need, and not rather put Ten Hag into the under the impression that don't worry, we'll sell this guy off, we'll sell that guy off. We'll get you the money
These
later on.
these
You
things
sign
should be
this.
done before the window even opens. We all know the date and the time of the window starting and shutting. And ideally a well-run club gets their signings done in the first 2 weeks of the transfer window, and they're done.
Absolutely. In the
They're
chat,
done.
Fenner Sports says hi. Hey Fenner man, how you doing?
Hey man, what's up?
Not a great day
Share
for
our
us,
pain
man.
with us.
So yeah, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to the depressing world of Manchester United fans, man.
We're a
2 decades of this crap.
support group.
Yeah, man.
Is what we are. We're not a fan base anymore. We're a support group.
We're a joke, man.
Yeah, a joke.
So, bro, anyways, with that, let's, end the show on a hope that, we get these injuries sorted out of the way, we get our players back soon, and the manager has more to work with because right now he's completely left with nothing.
Hope.
And we can only hope things get better. Even with the terrible start, we are very disappointed, but we've still not completely lost the plot.
There are glimpses of something, definitely. I can
There are,
see us
but,
like we can be a top side,
yeah.
but this has
But
been
we
our
need
story.
the manager to,
Yeah.
we need these injuries to get sorted
Yeah,
out.
we really need
those
them back.
players back, and we need them to consistently then stay fit after
Yeah.
they're back. So our entire season depends on it, or I don't know. I don't see
Hopes
otherwise anything.
and miracles and dreams.
Yeah, and let's
This
go
is all
forward with
we
the
have.
biggest positive, which is Hoyland.
Yeah.
So guys, just for Hoyland, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right hand of the
Yeah.
channel. It'll really be helpful to us. And
Do
if you
hit the
guys
like.
enjoy the content, please do comment to the comment section and
Yeah.
interact with us and hit that like button as well. It would mean the world to us, guys, and we'll see you guys back next week.
Yeah.
Before we have a Champions League game now.
Worst possible time to be playing in the Champions League. We
But
don't have
hey,
the squad depth, and now we're going to play two games.
Let's keep it positive. It's at least not Thursday nights.
Yes.
So,
The way we're going, it's the next season's
Sorry.
probably going to be a Thursday night
the
affair.
way we are going, forget next.
We might not
season.
even have European
Forget
football.
next season. This season, after a few weeks, we might be back to Thursday night. So let's hope that doesn't happen, man. So
Yeah.
guys,
Yes.
see you back on Wednesday nights.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Thanks a lot. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Craig.
Yeah.
It's been a good show.
It's been a pleasure as
Frustrating
well.
as usual, but always a pleasure to have you, man.
Done, man.